business is just a game of value, right? So I started looking into sales, business development, how I can be actually useful for other businesses. And I've discovered that a lot of businesses are not so great when it comes to generating leads for themselves. And the secret is quite simple. You do not need any sort of sales tactics. You don't need any tricks. You need to focus on fundamentals, meaning you need to know who is the target audience, what kind of pain points they have, how it impacts their business, and then you have to see how your solution solves those problems and makes their lives easier. Yeah, I post 5 times per week. That's the sweet spot for me, because I'm not being overactive, but also I'm not posting too rare for people to even care about me. So 5 times per week is sweet spot for me. Weekends have been leveraged to just think of ideas. What can I post about next? And actually the production of content. Yeah.
All right, guys, I have Hlib with me today, and he's from Oneaway, and a great guy. I'm going to call him a sales superstar because reading through some of his history and some of his background, very interesting guy. So if anybody doesn't need to make more sales or to learn like the life and philosophy of a little young sales guru, you can go ahead and hop off. You won't find this call interesting.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Philip, for introduction. It was even too generous of you, right? But yeah,
we're gonna have some fun.
I'm deeply involved in sales, GTM strategy, and business development. So yeah, happy to chat about it today.
Awesome. Let me ask. Well, first, tell me a little bit about yourself. I've seen that you're fairly new to Oneaway, and working with Clay. But you have a bit of a history despite being so young. What are you like? Can I ask your age about?
Yeah, absolutely. So regarding myself, I'm 20 years old, so I'm quite young, you can say. My journey started probably 3 years ago when I moved to a new country for myself, which is Norway, right? I wanted first to maybe go and study at university, get some sort of degree, and just go this conventional path. But then I started looking into some other ways where I could enjoy my life, maybe have more freedom, right, and still deliver value to the people, because business is just a game of value, right? So I started looking into sales, business development, how I can be actually useful for other businesses. And I've discovered that a lot of businesses are not so great when it comes to generating leads for themselves. And I found cold email being one of the cheapest sources of getting leads, while the quality and the volume you are getting is one of the highest. If maybe we can compare it to ads, where your creatives are being exposed to maybe thousands of people. Same can be done with cold email. So I decided to develop this further. I started my own agency and got first to clients. It went pretty well, but afterwards I didn't feel that my knowledge would be enough to serve them in the best way possible. So I've decided to join other agency, work with them to help them, first of all, get more sales. And that's where I started implementing my skills at a greater scale. So we quickly scaled, we tripled our MRR within 4 months, I believe, after I joined. We maybe signed around 35 clients during my reign there, right? We focused more on Eastern Europe because I'm from there. So I spoke multiple languages. It was easier for me to work there. And yeah, recently
a lot of people are scared to kind of approach Eastern Europe market.
Yeah, and I don't know why, because you have Poland, right, which is probably the strongest EU economy right now. You have Baltic countries, which are also developing quite fast. You have a lot of startups who are hungry to grow, and that was the angle we used. Yeah, and I slowly started discovering Clay as well, started implementing it within the agency, right? And then I saw Oneaway, so that they're one of Clay enterprise partners, and it made total sense for me to join them because I felt this is the way I want to go. I want to focus on go-to-market strategies, how we can develop some quite difficult advanced workflows, and really not just enable one channel for the companies, but scale and change the whole trajectory of their business development. So we're talking about outbound, inbound, maybe some content, ads, etc. So Clay can impact all of them, and that's why I decided to become a part of Oneaway.
Okay, so a little bit more background about Clay. What is Clay actually? Like, what's the purpose of the whole kind of umbrella of Clay?
Yeah, if I would give you a 1 or 2 sentence answer, I would say that Clay works as a bridge between different data providers and the end use platform. Whether it's, for example, a sequencer like Instantly, where you send your cold emails, could be also something for LinkedIn, something for ads. Basically, what it's doing is it combines all of the data providers in one place, which is Clay. It allows you to use all of them at the same time without you having multiple subscriptions. So you only get Clay, and that's enough for you to work with all of those data providers. And they have a lot of integrations, native integrations, which make it easier to then use this data for your CRM, again, for your sequencers or any other end user platforms which you're leveraging for whatever,
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you fell in love with Clay, and then you decided to start working with Oneaway, one of the subsidiaries of Clay, one of the products, essentially.
Yeah.
Do they operate independently, or do they operate kind of as like a department of the greater whole?
We operate independently, but we have very great relationships with the management of Clay, and it gives us a lot of perks as well. For example, we can test out early features, like we can do it before everyone else gets them. We get a lot of insights, updates. We get quite great customer support, so we are in the priority list. And also, what is great is that Clay refers a lot of people to our agency, just because we are doing extremely great job. We have, I would say, 90 something percent satisfaction rate. So it means a lot, as you can imagine. But we work independently.
And they probably appreciate that. Okay, so anybody who has essentially a great idea that's not somewhere in Clay's infrastructure could approach them and partner with them also.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay. All right. Cool. And I don't take it that you're around during that process. You came a little bit further into it. How long has Oneaway been a part of Clay?
Yeah, Oneaway has been a Clay partner for over 18 months right now, so almost 2 years. So Oneaway is one of the earliest, you can say, part of Clay Mafia. So there were around 10 different agencies that were early adapters of Clay, right? And they grew into some bigger projects, bigger businesses, but they're still having very great relationships with Clay.
Yeah,
they're also for them. One of them. Yeah.
Okay, good for you. That's kind of exciting. It's nice to see a startup, and 18 months. It's kind of somewhere between a startup and a small business.
Yeah, for sure.
But then again, 18 months, you came in, you almost quadrupled their sales all by yourself in 2 months. Okay, well, tell me your secret.
Well, the secret is quite simple. You do not need any sort of sales tactics. You don't need any tricks. You need to focus on fundamentals, meaning you need to know who is the target audience, what kind of pain points they have, how it impacts their business, and then you have to see how your solution solves those problems and makes their lives easier. So that's the whole point. If you have fundamentals nailed down, sales become much easier.
It does. It really does. In fact, I don't know how you do sales without understanding those concepts. Let me ask, right? And don't share anything that's awkward or like too kind of private for the company. But you came into Clay, you came into Oneaway, and no, you started using Oneaway first, right? Did you start using it before? Okay, so you started using it. You really liked the product, and then you decided to come work with the company.
Yeah, I started using Clay right independently for the other agency I work for, and then I saw that Oneaway is one of Clay Enterprise partners, so they're one of the biggest Clay implementation agencies. And I wanted to improve my Clay skills, and basically I love the concept. I know that this product will be still active in like 10 years. So I'm thinking long term, and I decided, yeah, I have to join them. Those guys.
Okay, so you saw the potential, and you know
Yeah.
what? That's for sales guys. This is a big deal for anybody, right? If you're an entrepreneur trying to find a good idea to jump into, if you're looking to be an employee or a partner or an investor, you're looking for that long-term growth potential. And obviously you not just saw that long-term, but you saw a place where you come in and enhance it and make a difference. And of course, like that's 3x.
Sure.
Good job. That must have been enticing. Was that part of, like, obviously you were comparing different options, right? You had a job, you didn't have to change anything, and you know, you're settled and happy and you know, enjoying life, I'm guessing. But the you decided you wanted to kind of, you know, 10x it, right? And you saw 10x it, right? You wanted some growth, and you saw Oneway being one of the opportunities. Like, did you just fall in love with Oneway from the beginning, or did you kind of compare like 3 or 4 options?
I would say it was love from the first sight. So I had an initial call with the CEO, Xavier. So the vibe was actually like unmatchable. I knew like from the very beginning, the minute he joined, that I would love the conversation with him, right? And we tried to find how we align on the goals and the, let's say, my tasks in this specific role, and it totally made sense. So I would say from the very, I don't know, the first 10 minutes of the conversation, I would know that I love work with them, right? And then when I had this emotion, I was just trying to justify my decision. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like sales in a nutshell.
Just
so
like sales, isn't it?
Yeah. I was pretty much sold from the very beginning.
And you had to justify it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how it worked. And I wasn't even considering any other options. I saw this one. I chatted with some people who knew Xavier. I got only positive reviews. I was like, okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's just do it.
Jump in. I like that. That's almost romantic. Good for you. Good for you, man.
Yeah, you can say.
Yeah. In a way, it's great, and it's been working out good for you. So I'm really happy for you. How in the world are you going to be able to keep the velocity that you have going? Right. So you came in with this great energy. You've been there for what, 3 or 6 months?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, so you're in there for less than half a year, and you already have great results. I see when I'm talking with you, you're thinking about how to do the next thing better while we're talking. So how is it? How do you care if you keep that velocity going? Like, do you want to? Are you trying to get like a 6x increase in sales over the by the end of the year, or just to keep that going? What's your goals when you're looking at this?
Yeah, I love the quote from James Clear. He said, "You don't rise to the level of your goals. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." So what I'm really trying to focus on is building the systems. When it comes to my specific role, everyone thinks that if I'm account executive, I'm just selling. So I'm doing cold calls, ramming some DMs, and just talking to people all the time. But it's not the case. My role is more of the hybrid. I'm thinking, okay, how can I build something on top of what's already working? And that's how I discovered content and organic reach. I've been consistently posting for over 6 months right now, and I've got like a couple of clients signed just from the content, just because how well it resonates with people. I'm not talking about likes or impressions. It's more about impact. So I'm looking for the right people to see my content. And that's my mindset. How can I build the systems on top of what's already working? So that's the actual goal for me, not the numbers, but how we can make it consistent.
All right, cool. So it's, of course, you know, sales is a result of untold number of activities, and you're active. I mean, I see every day, I think, content from you. What's your schedule for postings? Like every single day, Monday through Sunday, or do you take some holidays in there?
Yeah, I post 5 times per week. That's the sweet spot for me. because I'm not being overactive, but also I'm not posting too rare for people to even care about me. So 5 times per week is sweet spot for me. Weekends have been leveraged to just think of ideas. What can I post about next? And actually the production of content. Xavier provided me with our own in-house video editor. So I'm pushing video format, short format.
Okay, good for you.
Quite active right now. I'm still quite new to this. Sometimes I'm nervous in front of the camera, but
I can tell. Yeah, you're barely able to speak here.
But yeah, I'm just I'm improving slowly with time. So yeah, that's how I do it. So 5 times per week. Weekends are for content production. So I have everything prepped for the next week. And I'm also trying to spread between different platforms. I have LinkedIn, which is the biggest platform for me. I put those short form content on Instagram as well. And I have Twitter for mix of personal and business stuff, which is sometimes also quite a great source of leads if you're looking from this perspective.
Okay. All right, cool. When you're putting different kind of content out there, but your specialty is email, direct email.
Yeah, you can say it's part of my specialty. I love posting about sales as well, because you can get 100 leads. They can be the best quality ever, but if you don't know how to have the right conversation, how to proceed with them, it won't have any sense, So I try to pick 3 different topics. It can be cold email, sales, and something about like personal growth as well, or maybe LinkedIn. So I'm still experimenting, but I would say sales and cold outreach are the main ones for me.
And you just rotate through that kind of content over the course of 1 or 2 weeks and produce different shorts based off your. Okay.
Yeah. I love following 20-80 rule, in the way that 20% of the content delivers the best sort of results for me. So at least once per week, I post so-called bottom of the funnel content. It's either a lead magnet or case study or some sort of testimonial, which is direct proof of our work and which generates the biggest amount of leads. But also top of the funnel, where I talk about more surface stuff, just to catch as many potential buyers as possible. And I also rotate topics all of the time. Some of them are consistent, some of them I'm experimenting with, and sometimes they flop, and that's all right. I mean,
yeah, when you're making content every day, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I know that something will stick with me for a longer time, and that's okay. I'm still in search of it.
Right. There's always that long tail. Not everything's going to nail it.
Yeah.
If I produce a lot of content. I know a lot of people do. And people more than me, like yourself, produce a lot more than I do. How do you balance that that given value with the call to action in there that's kind of subtle, let people know that you're, or is it less subtle, right? Do you try to balance more subtle, being more subtle about it, or do you try to keep it more direct and bold without being salesy? As you said, you have that little, every once in a while you do that, bottom of funnel sales, right? And you have to every once in a while. But do you find that it's that draws it, or is it the general kind of content that's pushing sales for you? What do you think it is?
Yeah, great question. And I just try to do what matches my personality more, because I really love people who are authentic on the platform. And when you meet them in real life, you also see how it matches what they're showing online. That's something I value in people a lot. And
yeah, I think we all do.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm more on the softer side, meaning that I don't love to push people. I just love giving them food for thoughts. And if they have the right sort of mindset, they will process it in a way which is favorable for me. So when I'm doing call to actions, it's more of like, what's your take on this? Or maybe I try to offer some sort of help or advice. So anytime you can text me, we can take a look at your cold email campaign. So if you have any questions related to sales, I'm happy to help. with those bottom of the funnel posts, I can be a little bit more direct. So if the case study resonates with some specific sort of customers, I can say, yeah, if you want something similar for yourself, just text me growth and we'll talk. But most of the times I prefer being soft, non-pushy, and just, let's say, driving people to the thoughts which would lead them to want to have the conversation with me, basically.
Yeah, just warming up the introduction.
Yeah.
Obviously, you establish over time, you establish yourself as an authority. The with the clients you work with, right? And
Yeah.
I see you do a lot of outreach and helping people grow that as part of both your business and seems like a hobby for you almost. What's like how long does it take somebody who's maybe been producing some level of content, say 1 or 2 a week, right? So somebody has a concept of it, but isn't getting returns. How long does it take you to start getting them results, or what are the key factors involved in helping them to get results?
Yeah. As with every sort of skill, there is a learning curve. For LinkedIn and content production, I would say it's about 6 to 9 months on average for an average person to get the understanding on how the platform works, what kind of formats work, how you need to put your content, what to talk about, etc. If you really want to speed up your results, I definitely recommend hiring someone or having a LinkedIn mentor. That's something I leveraged myself, and the results were much better for me in shorter period of time. So in 2 months, I got probably from just organic content 5 interested leads, and we closed 2 of them. And also, what is important, I got a couple of brand deals where I would just advise people on their brand, how to build it, and maybe put some sort of post about them once per month, for example. As this is also like a source of additional income for me. But in general, if you want to do it yourself, 6 to 9 months with the right mentor, I would say 2 months, and you can already see some great results.
Okay, good. How do you well, first of all, do you consider yourself a mentor in this for some people on occasion, or is that something you prefer to recommend out to people?
I prefer to recommend out to people. Maybe I'm too humble here, I don't know, because I know that I have some sort of knowledge, right?
Yeah.
But that's not my specialty, and if I want people to get not just good but great results, I want to refer them to great people in this space. So when someone asks me, I can give some basic sort of advice if they're just the beginners. But if they're looking for something more advanced, I would rather have them a chat with some advanced people in this space. That's how I approach it.
I'm looking forward to coming back and seeing you again when you have a little bit of gray hair and see how you answer that same question. Okay, 2 obvious questions, right? One is how do you find such a mentor that's going to match your style, right?
Yeah.
Or does even your style matter, right? In your opinion, how would you go out looking back? How would you go out and find a mentor? Would you do it the same way you did? Would you do it different based off where you're at nowadays?
I would do it the same, and how we found the mentor for LinkedIn, it happened organically. So I just saw a post of this guy. I love that he was from Eastern Europe as well, which was like a big plus for me. I decided to reach out just to see how he handles the conversation with a potential client, because I was interested in services which he offered, and I loved the way he handled it. So when I was ready to have a deeper chat, we booked a call. And what stood out for me is definitely the energy and the approach. Again, non-pushy. He was consulting, very kind and helpful. And this is what won me over.
Okay.
He was extremely helpful, and even if I didn't sign up with him, I knew that I would get a lot of value.
Okay.
So that's why I decided, it makes sense. I'll pay you what you're worth. That's how it went.
Okay, that's cool. Paying it forward too. Would your mentor mind if you shared his reference out here with the community?
Yeah, for sure. His name is Julius Bilauskas. I can share his LinkedIn profile as well. Extremely great guy. I feel like he works with bigger creators nowadays, or people who are interested in making a LinkedIn as their main acquisition channel. So anyone who is interested, I can refer you to him. He's a great guy, and he will take great care of you for sure.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, later on, send me his contact, and I'm going to put your contact in a description below, and I'll put his too. So
yeah, for sure.
sounds
He's
like
doing a
guy,
great
and
job,
I'll share
and
the love.
yeah, he's doing a great job, and he's one of very few guys who I would recommend to anyone, specifically
Okay, cool.
for LinkedIn.
Nice. And I got that feeling, so we're going to share that love too.
For sure.
When it seems like you just had a lot of luck in some ways, finding good mentor, or maybe good intuition. How much time do you spend in working to do research and to kind of analyze the market segments of the core customer, or the segment that you can support, versus going out there and creating content and doing the business, the job that you have to do? How do you balance that?
Yeah, that's a good one, and it really, it can be really difficult to find this sweet spot, between just go in and be super direct without having any sort of background research, or I'm just over analyzing, and never doing anything, and just like having this analysis in like paralysis in analysis, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So really, what I would do maybe in this situation is to nail down just a couple of fundamental things, right? Again, what's your ideal client, what kind of problems they have, what they care about, and how you can make their lives easier and solve those problems. You can get those questions answered probably in, I don't know, 3 hours of just sitting, analyzing a little bit, and using maybe ChatGPT to give you some ideas. After this, it's more about execution, right? So you have the initial strategy, you go out there, you just test out with your content. How do people respond to it? What are they commenting, if they're even commenting? What they care about, do they like it or not? And based on this, you can iterate and improve. So that's my approach. You can create the initial strategy. It doesn't have to be anything complicated as you're the beginner, but then just go out there, you test out and see what sticks and what doesn't. That's it.
Okay. And is that kind of what you do? Like on the weekend, you'll spend 3 hours kind of defining the market you're going to be reaching out over the course of the week? Or is it something you do like every day, or when you begin a new job? Like, how often do you do this? Like 3 hours is nice, but if it's 3 hours twice a day.
Yeah, it can be challenging. My approach to this is once per month, I set up, let's say, focus goals, meaning that this specific month I want to focus on this segment. And then for each week, I create an implementation plan. For example, first week I'll be focusing a little bit more on the content and how I can get into this industry. Then second week I'll start adding relevant people. Third week I'll start reaching out to them. And fourth week, for example, I'll do some sort of big lead magnet post. After having insights from first 3 weeks, I can create something super valuable, super relatable to those specific people. Right.
Okay, cool. So you do the initial research, then along the way, while you're creating content, you're learning, you're seeing what people are responding to, you're adapting your plan, and you're kind of growing with it. And I bet you nailed this the first time you ever tried it. I bet it just came easy, natural, and
you can say it. Yeah, you can say it. But some of the formats for me, right? For example, they worked initially, but now they don't work. For example, meme posts, right? You have a serious topic you're talking about, but the visual for the post is some sort of meme. At the beginning, worked extremely well. I got lots of impressions and interest.
Yeah, memes are very popular for a little while.
Yeah, but then slowly this format, personally for me, I don't talk about other people. For me, it started to die, and slowly it didn't get the traction it used to. So I decided to switch up. And yeah, it was the learning. It's okay. I'm iterating. So if you're not constantly, changing, or at least trying a bit some different stuff, you won't grow that much. So you need to be kind of in the way of like, yeah, I'm doing great right now, but I still need to keep eye on this thing. I cannot rest. I need to still focus and try to find what I can improve or maybe change.
Yeah. I have a similar philosophy. My feeling is like you want to spend maybe 10% of your time experimenting on things that you don't expect to get a result from, and just see how it goes.
Very good. Yeah, I agree.
There's some people that say, yeah, you should every day you should spend like 5 minutes learning something that's random and chaotic that you will never use and have no chance to understand. Like one day nuclear physics, another day,
Oh wow,
biology and in some crazy field, right? And over time, it'll build something up. And this came from the guys that created PayPal. No, not PayPal. They might be the same, but the guys that created Netflix. So
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, they had the two friends had the same philosophy. Every day they study something like insane. They'd never understand it or didn't have any kind of correlation. And the whole only way they could rationalize it to themselves was that eventually your mind will start mapping things that you have no understanding of how they connect, but your brain will start putting it together. And it's just a creative process.
Subconscious is always working. I agree with this concept, even though it sounds strange, even for me, but I understand where it's coming from. So yeah. I agree with this. I agree with this one.
Yeah, I like it too. I have kids, so sometimes I get more of those or less of those, depending on the kind of mood the kids are in.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And of course, sometimes the wife is like, "I'm tired of hearing you guys crazy stuff." Us three boys can get crazy. Do you have any siblings or kids yet?
Not yet, but probably soon. I don't know.
Okay, all right. Good luck. Right?
Yeah. It's very unpredictable, You have this kind of goals right now, but then suddenly everything changes.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you're in love, and the whole world goes to hell.
Yeah. Same was for me. I'm originally from Ukraine, right? I had those kind of plans, and then suddenly war happened, and I had to change everything, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm kind of
the whole dating thing changed.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like attentive with the goals I put on the paper, right? If it's really something I feel like this might disappear, why would I even plan for it? I want something, as I've said, long term.
Yeah.
So something which I can do regardless of what is happening. For example, learning a new language. I can do it anywhere in the world, right? In any sort of circumstances. So that's something I can put into my agenda for this year, right?
And is that part of your goals, is learning a new language?
Yeah. Some people call me a language freak. I love learning new languages. So that's
how many can you like order? How many could you get like a bus ticket and understand a little bit of the news and order a meal? How many languages can you handle that in?
In 6 languages as of now.
Good job. Yeah. My wife is the same way. Everything from Japanese to Spanish to German, Russian, and you name it. She's got 7, I think.
Yeah, that's great. That's really some of the biggest skills you can actually develop. Even with AI, knowledge is something which cannot be taken from you, right? And the knowledge experience can't be taken. Yeah.
No, and it's important, right? One of my biggest scares in life is that I'm going to go crazy. Like I'm going to get Alzheimer's. I already warned my kids, and I was like, each one of my kids, at one point or another, I'll be, taking their hands. They'll be 14. They don't want to hold my hand anymore, but I'm teasing them. And I'm saying, I whisper, I go, son, about 5 to 20 years, you're going to be chasing me into somebody's house and have to explain that I'm crazy and not dangerous. You just get ready for it, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to get crazy, right? I'm almost sure of it. So I try to keep my mind fresh. And I think learning language is one of those things that can help a lot. There's, of course, different ways to make yourself tired and to build that energy and resistance that goes along. The science is back and forth on it, so I don't know, but I don't think it ever hurts to learn things. I never had that natural skill for spoken language, but I can pick up a coding language in
that's great.
a week. So
That's really great. I mean, people have different sort of abilities which were put in them by nature or God, right? And
yeah.
but languages in general, they give you an access to culture and maybe some sort of information which is not available for other people. As an
Perspective.
example, as an example, I have some friends who are studying in Poland. So the language they speak there is Polish. And when they have assignments from the university, how they find the information? They go to Russian or Ukrainian searching engines, and they can find information which is not available for Polish people just because they don't speak the language.
Yep.
But my friends do, right? And
Yeah.
that's like the advantage of knowing the language, as an example.
Yeah. Different nations censor different information. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. How, just out of curiosity for a language buff,
Yeah.
how similar is Ukrainian and Polish as far as the language goes?
Yeah, they're quite similar. They're using different alphabets, but the words and sort of the mechanics of the language, all of those different cases, how you change words, they're pretty similar. So for me, it took maybe 1 year to master the language and have like B2 level, which is quite decent,
Nice.
Yeah.
So what do you think of Warsaw? Is it a pretty capital? Have you been there?
Yeah. I would say yes. It's extremely beautiful. You have the old town, which was like renewed after the Second World War. You also have this business center with extremely big skyscrapers. Looks like Manhattan. Honestly, I was amazed. I went there last year, and the city is developing quite fast. So it's one of my favorite cities in Europe for sure.
Okay. All right. Cool. Does Ukraine have skyscrapers anymore?
Yeah, in Kiev, in capital, they still do. Yeah.
Oh, good. So, all right. As terrible as it is, you still got cities. That's nice.
Yeah.
What a funny situation. I don't want to go in that direction, but the whole world has sympathy, I think, for both sides of this conflict. It's always ugly.
Shit happens. Honestly, I'm just focusing, on what I can control.
Right.
So that's
and when you get married, you realize how low that is.
Yeah.
While you're young, you can rule the world. That's great. What's the okay, personal question, right? This past year, you write down, you obviously write down your goals. And what in this past year have been goals that you really tried to meet that one you can share that you weren't able to meet? And how does your philosophy allow you to handle that? Because a lot of people, they set their goals, and if they miss that target, it kind of deflates them. Have you had this experience, or were your goals like all achieved?
No, not all of the goals I set were achieved. And I think it's a great sign. What didn't work for me, for example, the goal which I set up was the number of clients closed, right? How many sales I make. And I believe there were a lot of different factors to it. But what I feel the problem here is, again, that I was focusing more on the outcomes, like how many clients I close. And it's not something I can always control. A lot of times happens like you do the great presentation, they love your product, but then suddenly they go with the different vendor or they decide to do it themselves, And some people might argue, you could have pre-handled this objection or whatever, but sometimes it is what it is, right? And you cannot change things. But what you can control is your attitude and how you approach your next call. Because the people which you're going to meet, they don't know what happened during the last call. And you don't have to transfer this maybe negative or like sad energy into them. You can always bounce back.
Yeah, always
so what
bounce
I'm really
back.
focusing. So what I'm really focusing on right now, again, is systems. So I have sales drills quite often. I would say a couple of times per week.
Okay. What's a sales drill for you?
Sales drill for me, you have an app which is called Brevity Pitch. What it does is that it allows you to do role plays with AI. Like sounds crazy, but it works pretty well. So you have.
I do it a lot myself.
Yeah. You have a lot of different scenarios, and you can just practice and refine your skills for any sort of situations, whether it's objection or you just start a conversation and you try to make this person open up to you. So you can practice, and it takes you maybe 20 minutes per day, but the impact is insane. Like I see the difference in the way I handle all of the stuff right now.
Okay. I love it. I love it. The I haven't used Brevity Pitch, but I'm going to check it out.
Very good app. Yeah.
Nice. I think I'm happy when I see people set goals that they don't achieve that were achievable in the first place. So
Yeah.
I like goals that are achievable, but I also like it when you don't make your goal, because it builds resilience, first of all, and you learn the most from either being married or having goals that you don't achieve. So, and sometimes you get them together, right? Jokes about marriage. But it isn't, I find that I learned the most from the goals that I've set that were actually possible, that I tracked what I did, and I fell short, and I get learning experiences from that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm on the same page with you here. And also, there is a book by Mark Manson which is called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, right? And what he's talking about there is you don't have to be special. You have the same problem as any other human being on this planet. You don't have to be special to actually achieve success. You can be normal, but you can still do extraordinary stuff. So even if you don't achieve your goal, that's all right. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't define you.
Yeah, you still have another shot. So I mean, you have to be some sort of obsessed, but not in the way that this goal has control over you.
I like it. Yeah, that way you can push yourself, you can fail, you can succeed, and either way, you're getting ready for the next one.
For sure.
Man, my time with you is almost up. You want to have the last word?
Yeah. Whether it comes to sales or creating content or achieving any sort of goals in your life, I would say the number one lesson is consistency. You need to put in the hours still. No shortcuts. It doesn't work. You'll just be left, embarrassed and sad. So what you really need to do is find a sustainable way of doing things. With content, for example, doesn't have to be 5 times per week. Start with 2, but do it consistently, and then slowly increase the volume. Same comes to, for example, cold calls. 100 dials per day is good, but if it drains you of your energy, do not do it. Go with 20 calls per day, just something which is sustainable, and then increase the reps over the time. So that's how it worked for me, and I believe it works for a lot of people, not just me. But yeah, just sharing my experience here.
No, beautiful shares. And thank you for being so open for this whole call. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Enjoyed this conversation. Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, this is Hlib, and a great guy. So thank you guys for joining.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.